My name is John Myatt. In my time, I've been a teacher, a painter, and an art forger. In 1999, I was jailed for forging over 200 paintings, a crime that rocked the art world, and I paid the price for it. These days, I paint in the style of the great masters and sell them legally as honest fakes. And I've started teaching the tricks of my trade to aspiring artists because all painters can learn by copying others. Today, we'll be painting in the style of one of modern art's great realists, the American Edward Hopper.
Don't we wish we'd done that 20 minutes ago?
That's why you're the teacher.
I think it's quite a disaster.
We're in Dungeness in Kent. This is the perfect location to recreate the desolate landscape that characterised the work of our artist today.
Hello! The first half of the 20th century was a time of great change for modern America. 2 world wars, the Great Depression and the arrival of the motor car all redefined the young nation. Throughout all this, one man told the story of the people, the cities and the landscape. His name was Edward Hopper. An illustrator and commercial artist by trade, Hopper started out designing magazine covers and adverts, and he incorporated this sense of dramatic composition into his own realistic style of painting. He painted the common features of American life. His paintings were bleak and simple, the people and buildings within them alone and isolated. But there was always a sense of expectation, of narrative, of something about to happen. Edward Hopper once said that his very favourite thing was to capture the effect of sunlight on the side of a house. And if my students are going to succeed today, they will have to study the light effect quite carefully. But they'll also have to try and find a sense of poetry in this bleak and soulless place. And that's not going to be an easy thing for them to do.
Today's students will have just one day to capture the enigmatic quality of Hopper's work.
I'm Mel, I'm from London. I've just recently graduated from the Royal College of Art, and now I'm a struggling artist.
My name is Shirley Chang. I'm originally from Taiwan. I'm now living in Staines, and I'm a freelance illustrator.
My name's Scott Polschmidt, and I'm from Palatine, Illinois, and I'm both a portrait painter and a teacher of art.
I want my paintings to be perfect, so I want the perfect colour, and it has to be perfectly flat. Then it has to have a perfect black line around it, and everyone has to look really attractive in my paintings as well.
I think my style is fun. It's very colourful, with a hint of humour, and I think it brings a smile to everyone who sees it.
Creating something from scratch is giving birth to something in a way, and that's incredibly satisfying.
But can the students take inspiration from this uninviting landscape?
Mel, Shirley, Scott, welcome to this windswept section of the English coastline. Your task today is to see this through the eyes of one of the 20th century's greatest realists, the American Edward Hopper. This is really quite a simple composition, isn't it? Just a house in the landscape. But there's something going on here which is a bit hard to put your finger on. The house itself seems almost to be abandoned. There's no sense anywhere in this composition of human habitation. The house is just an object in a landscape, an object enclosed in on itself. And that's part of the mystery that I'm hoping you're going to be able to find out here.
When the painting was revealed, my first impression was that I was fairly pleased because it's quite a straightforward composition. It's nothing terribly complex or straight lines, even cool tones, so I'm not terribly worried about it at the moment.
Hopper always blocked in the outlines in dark colours and worked the lights on top of the darks. He always worked from dark to light. So find the shape of the house, if you choose to do the house, in a large dark block, and then work the lights on top of it.
When I saw this landscape, I was worried that I was just going to have to do a landscape, which really isn't my thing. So when I saw the building, I realised it was Hopper. I was really pleased because I'm quite into shadows and light.
I draw your attention to the boat here next to the house. Look at it. I mean, it's starting to fall to pieces. No one's loved that boat for a long time. Why? Why is it there? What's the story? You can imagine the boat, can't you, here in Hopper's painting? Abandoned, alone, a bit like the house. So there is a story, but he never tells us the narrative. Can I ask you to share a few thoughts on the Hopper now you've seen what you've got to do?
Well, my first thought was it was a big challenge to me, because normally I do a lot of people. I rarely do landscape or buildings, but there's one thing that cheered me up, because we can choose and pick the buildings into our painting, and to me it's like to create a story, and that's what I'm looking forward to.
Good, jolly good. Right, let's get going to transform this harsh landscape into something that Edward Hopper himself might have been proud of. You've got a set of acrylics and 1 day to complete your version of Edward Hopper's painting. Good luck, let's get going. Before you start painting, we're going to just have 4 or 5 minutes where we just draw out little tiny squares and you just suggest to yourselves what your composition is going to be like before you commit to the actual painting process itself. I think that's going to be a useful 5 or 10 minutes.
Well, to be honest, I really don't think I can paint a convincing Hopper, but I'll try my best and see what comes up.
I think my strengths would be sort of getting the composition right. I'm quite good at quite accurate drawing and perspective and things like that, so it'll be getting the painterly style right that'll pose the problem.
To be now the student under the watchful eye of John is going to be, you know, it's the other side of the coin for me, and definitely it's going to be an interesting experience.
Right, time's up for the sketching now. Have we all decided on our final composition?
Yes.
Yes? Good. Now remember, you can take components from anywhere around the flag, everything, and just incorporate it in the painting. But I'm assuming now that we're now ready to start painting. Everybody's ready to start painting. Good. Well, this is it then. Let's go. Come on. Remember, Hopper did tend to work from the dark to the light. It doesn't have to be intensely dark, of course. Usually a kind of bluey dark.
They seem like a capable bunch, but I don't think it's going to be easy to capture the eeriness of Hopper's painting.
Shelley, I noticed that you've chosen to use our canvas in portrait rather than landscape format. Have we any particular reason for this?
Well, because the story that I've got in my head tells me that the portrait looks better than landscape.
Good. And just tell me the story briefly.
Well, I've decided to have the hut there and the boat there. So I think that the story is that this person sort of came to this place and for whatever really sad reason decided to live in there forever, doesn't want to come out.
Then you've got the ingredients of a kind of mystery, haven't we?
Yeah.
That's the stuff, Nell. Get that canvas, get that white blocked out as soon as you can. The sooner the white is covered, the sooner we'll be able to discuss the whole thing as a unity, as a painted unity. Marvellous. I like it.
Painting to me is it's an expression of my personality first and foremost, but it's also an incredibly relaxing and fulfilling thing to physically do. To sit there on your own doing lovely little brushstrokes, it's just a wonderful feeling. It's better than fixing cars or plumbing or anything like that, for sure.
I mean, he was a graphic artist. He laid things out. He thought things through, like you've done beforehand. So you've got the layout, as it were. I think this is going to already looks to me like a great success. What I like most of all is the sort of bravery. You've just gone and blocked the thing out, got rid of the white down there already, and we can fine tune. Once we've got the white covered, we can start the fine tuning, which I think you're right in charge of. Well, marvellous, great start, Scott. And
Thank you.
Well done. After studying art for 7 years at the New York School of Art, Hopper went on to continue his studies in Paris. It was 1906 and Impressionism was the style of the day. Renoir, Degas, Monet, all celebrated artists of the time. It wasn't so much the style that Hopper wasn't impressed with its little dabs of colour, but the subject matter, the gentle strolls through the countryside, the boating parties, all seemed to Hopper to lack social relevance and ignore the massive wave of industrialisation that was going on all around. So when Hopper went back to America, he picked up his paintbrush and he painted reality as he saw it. For an artist hoping to make a living from selling his canvases, this was a very brave move. Hopper's painting was a world away from the popular, easily accessible images of French Impressionism. Instead, his work had a haunting and inconclusive quality to it. However, in the end, the American public would fall in love with his paintings.
Today's students seem really independent, so I'm hoping for some great results.
You've made quite a few intriguing decisions here, Mel. Really. I'm fascinated. You've changed the side of the house round, haven't you?
I'm doing that one.
Yeah, okay. So you're doing that one.
Yeah.
The pole will actually prevent us from getting to the house, won't it?
Straight in the middle. Well, sort of here. Yeah.
That's very good. That's good. Well, good luck. That's very promising. I wondered what on earth you were doing, and I was looking at that house and thinking, that's not it, and I've totally forgot there was one over there. Oh, well. It looks a little bit tropical to me, and it's almost like the South Sea Islands we've got here. I think could we kind of sadden the colours a bit down here?
Yeah.
Make this rather a greyer and lonely area. I look at that and I think, gosh, I'd love to have a swim in that sea. It just looks so gorgeous. Whereas I'd rather have a sense that, if I got in there, it'd be so cold. I mean, if you look at the Hopper, there is a sense in which it's not exactly very warm, is it?
No.
And let's try and find that in our painting here as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
My work is always very bright and colourful, and even if I draw something a bit sad, the colour's still bright and joyful. So this time when I had this really sad story in my head, it's actually quite hard for me to use really like dark and sad colours. So I have to get used to it.
They're in reasonably good shape, so let's leave them to it, while I show you a drawing which takes me back to my time in prison. I've just taken a break from painting to show you this, which is a drawing that I did just before I left Brixton Prison, as the nights were drawing out and the evenings were getting lighter. This is the left-hand side is the original octagonal block G-wing here. Then there was a block here for the Brinks mat and the IRA, and always there was a van parked in front of the "Do not park this van here" notice, which was quite interesting. I wanted to get the drawing out of prison. So I took it to one of the prison officers, and he said, "You'll never get this out because security won't let you take it. It's too detailed." So I did a drawing on the other side of it, then showed that to one of the prison officers, and they said, "Oh, that's all right then." I put it in an envelope and posted it to myself at home. Things have probably changed in Brixton Prison now anyway, so it's no use to anybody. But it does take you back when you sit and look at it and think of all the people stuck in there right now.
If my students do happen to see this and I completely make an ass of myself, then maybe they won't trust my teachings. So I do have to stay on track.
I love the way you've pulled out almost already, you've pulled out a sense of texture here, and you've actually ignored those kind of phony sort of half-timbering things stuck onto the house. I think it's been a good decision to do that.
Yes.
I think I do. There is possibly a use for this broken down fence, and establishing the fact that it is broken down will actually bar our entry into the painting.
Right.
And also prevent us, in a sense, from actually getting to explore what's beyond it. You know, so some point or other, when you've finished with the boat, let's have a look at the fence.
Yeah.
The actual painting I think is going to be okay, but getting the sort of Hopper atmosphere is going to be the biggest challenge, I think.
Mel, do you normally complete one part of the painting so much before you start another when you work?
Well, this kind of way of working is completely alien to me anyway, so what I normally do sort of doesn't matter for this.
What I'm getting a bit worried about is, like, even at this sort of mid stage, I can't see the composition. I have no sense of what the composition's doing. So you'd do me a favour in a way if you just indicate, however sketchily, just where that pole is and what you plan for those lines.
I think the pole's going to be about here.
Right, so why not indicate it? And why not indicate what you're going to... Why not keep the whole thing going at the same time, rather than actually just getting precious about these windows?
Okay.
Can you try that?
Yeah.
Just...
Let me finish this one.
No, I will not let you... Oh, look, it's a rebellion. Okay.
I started it now, I may as well.
I know, well, you see, that's the whole point. We should be trying to work all over the painted surface and bring it together all at the same time. So just indicate what's happening. So you yourself can see, you know, not at the very end of the process, but at least at the beginning or halfway through, where the composition is. Maybe you put the pole there and think, oh, don't like that, I'm going to move it now. When you can't do that if you leave it till the very last minute. You might want a ruler or something. Yes, you've got a very, very, very strong hand there. And are you going to take it right to the top of the canvas?
I think
or are you going to stop about
there,
there? Maybe. What a difference that makes.
Yeah.
Doesn't it?
Yeah.
Don't we wish we'd done that 20 minutes ago?
That's why you're the teacher.
Today's students are technically strong, but they're keen to do things their own way. Now, whether or not this confidence will help create a convincing Hopper, we'll have to wait and see.
20 years after they met as art students, Hopper married Josephine Nivison. Theirs was a long, complex and frequently quarrelsome relationship. She felt that her own career as an artist was jeopardised by his success, and she wouldn't let him use any other female models apart from herself. But Hopper has much to thank his wife for. Soon after they became married, she became his manager, and his career took off. His solo exhibitions were sellouts, and he became celebrated as one of America's leading painters. Their prosperity enabled them to buy a motor car, but this became another excuse for arguments, because Hopper would never let Josephine get behind the wheel.
I think it's time for me to speak up before it's too late.
Right, everybody, attention please. Would you all come to me now? Now, I want you to share just a few moments with this painting. I want you to look at this painting and compare it to your own and see if there's anything you can take away from this and put it into your own work over there. Suddenly, when you've been working on a painting yourself, this looks slightly different now to what it did earlier on, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It does, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah. I notice no one's using this horizontal of the sky here. I wonder if that's any use. If it isn't, don't use it. But there might be a few cues here, a bit of detail, a strange detail here. What on earth's that all about? Somehow or other we're missing the essential sense of weirdness. So find something in it, take it back to your paintings, and you've got half an hour to go.
Brilliant.
Okay? Good luck.
I get very frustrated when painting if things don't go quite right. I get very angry with myself because I'm a perfectionist.
I don't want to restrict myself in a certain style Because if I restrict myself, then I don't think that is a good way to discover something that hasn't been discovered before.
Some artists are very naturally inclined to go outside and paint. I'm not. I'm a city boy. I didn't grow up in the country. I grew up near Chicago. I fight painting landscape.
In later life, Hopper was showered with awards, doctorates, retrospective exhibitions. Few artists have been so honoured in their own lifetime.
But in his early 80s, Hopper fell ill, and in 1967, aged 84, he died. His wife Josephine passed away just a few months later.
Can I make one point to all of you? Hopper was the first artist, really, to express the use of the sign as part of the artistic language. Now, if you look around you now, you can see all kinds of signs. Let's think of a flag as a sign. Here, a parade of telegraph poles and things hanging between them. If you're looking for one more element to put in your painting, to give it that sense of incongruity, think in terms of a sign that Hopper would have used. That might help. We've got about 10 minutes to go.
I haven't found any Hopper element in my painting whatsoever at the moment. I think it's quite a disaster.
Oh, it's very different from my usual style, but there's still quite a flat quality to Hopper's work, and I work really flat. So in that sense, it's not that far removed.
A successful day would be, hopefully, achieve the goal. Every artist has mannerisms and techniques and styles, and to explore another artist is just another avenue to discover what you could put into your own work.
Okay, everybody, time's up. Brushes down. Let's have a good look and see if we've got a result. Shirley, this is your painting in a gilt frame. Can I ask you to just share a few thoughts with me, please?
Oh, well, basically, I didn't think I did a very good job. I don't think people can see Hopper in this painting. But when I was doing this piece, I was actually enjoying just having my brush banging on the canvas.
Yes.
I thought that was quite fun.
Yeah. You have a very sunny, warm personality, and unfortunately, that's come through in your painting.
Yeah, I didn't think it looked as sad as it's supposed to be.
Right.
It didn't go well with the story that popped up in my head.
No.
I can't see any sadness in this picture.
No, I agree with you there. I think there is a sense where the eye is pulled that way. I think there's just not enough finish on this.
No,
to create the hopperiness. Somehow or other, it's slipped through our fingers, hasn't it?
Yeah, I have to agree, I'm afraid.
Well, brave try. Well done.
I think John's comments were spot on. I totally agree with him. He was very encouraging as well, and I really like that.
Scott, this time let's have a look at your painting in a gilt frame. What do you think, Scott?
Well, I think I did more of a pure representation of what I was seeing more than anything else.
I've been wondering, I think if we could have just brought the house across here and stated it really that it was an isolated object in a large area, we would have got it, because, I mean, fair play to you, this is a damn nice painting. I mean, by any other standards, this is a lovely piece of work. Hundreds of people, thousands of people would love to hang something like this up on their, in their lounge or in their picture gallery.
Especially in such a nice frame.
Especially not. I mean, it's a lovely painting. Congratulations. So,
Thank you.
10 out of 10 as a painter, 7.5 out of 10 as a hopper.
To have someone like John compliment my work is fantastic, and it was he was great at coaching and advising, something that normally I would be doing. I'm normally a teacher, so it's great to be on the flip side of that.
Mel, can I ask you your thoughts on your hopper, please?
Well, it looks better in the frame, and I tried to get a Hopper feel about it. I'm not sure if I did that to the best of my ability, but I tried. And
There's a lot here that I really do admire. I love the symbolism. I hope it's not just me who sees it. Here we have the symbol of communication and contact, the telephone wire or the power cable or whatever it is, totally bypassing this building. But the one thing for me that really lets us down is this perspective. I'm sure there's a perspective error here. If we actually take these two lines and we draw them up, the horizon has to be somewhere about here.
yeah, you're right there.
Correct that perspective, leave that in. This is lovely, really lovely. That's perfect, absolutely perfect moment there. It is a sense of incongruity, and incongruity was what we were looking for, but not that kind of incongruity. Oh, it's so close to being a really good result. What are your feelings now about this perspective error?
I feel stupid. Yeah, it's just one of those really silly mistakes, and as soon as you said it, I was like, oh yeah. But, oh well.
If you keep the whole canvas going, you can adjust as you go. And yet if you finish something, it looked right until you realise 3/4, nearly 9/10 of the way through the process, the horizon's in the wrong place. Too late. But let's end on a positive note. It's a beautiful image, isn't it? It is an image of isolation. You've got that one. Here, everybody's talking to everybody else, but no one's talking to anybody who's in there. Perfect. Lovely Hopper-type image.
It's been fantastic doing something completely different, but I know what I know. I don't think I'll ever make a brilliant landscape artist.
So what have we seen today? Well, Shirley had a great idea, but in the execution somehow she just completely missed the target. Mel and Scott came oh so close to capturing something. And what do we learn from this? That it's oh so hard to be simple. To be simple and to portray the mystery somehow inherent in reality, as shown by the arch-realist himself, Edward Hopper.
Perspective errors aside, I think Mel came closest to capturing the essence of a Hopper. But whether hers was the best painting, well, that's for you to decide.